Okay, great. I think we are ready to go. Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Jordan, head boss lady and social media strategist over at heybosslady.com. As you can see, I'm not in New York City. I am actually in Honolulu, Hawaii. So it is my 2 o'clock in the afternoon versus your 8 o'clock in the evening. And it might be a little sunnier and warmer here. Not sure. I don't want to rub that in. Maybe it's just as warm. I don't know. But as we start getting more viewers in within these next 5 minutes, I'll just want to explain a little bit about live Hangouts with Google Hangouts on Air. If you have a question, I'm going to be answering questions in the group chat. So there is a chat icon on the left-hand side. It looks like 2 square bubbles. If you click on that, a chat bar will show up on your right-hand side, and you can type in a question there, and I'm going to be looking at that throughout the workshop so that I can answer questions as much as I can at the end of the workshop. Also, if there's any hiccups along the way, if for some reason we lose connectivity or you can't hear me, something like that, go ahead and in our event page with Google Hangouts, write a message to me there, let me know. I'll be checking that frequently just to make sure that you guys aren't missing out on any of this information. Also, if you sign on and for some reason we can hear you, just make sure that your camera and your microphone are muted so that you're not interrupting when you just enter in for the workshop. So we're going to get started within the next 5 minutes. Much love and appreciation. Thank you so much, Levo League, for allowing me to do this. Social media is such a huge passion of mine, and helping women entrepreneurs is what I live for. So I'm very excited to be teaching you all about social media marketing strategies and how to make your marketing more effective. And the 5 mistakes are, I guarantee at least one, you're making at least one right now. So I'm really excited to share that information with you. So if you're just logging on, I said in the very beginning here that if you hit this square speech bubble icon off to the left-hand side, that's the chat role, and that'll pop up on your right-hand side. And you can type in a question there, ask me a question, and if I have time at the end, I'm going to answer a few of those and try to address as many as possible. So if you have any questions throughout the workshop, let me know and write your questions there. If for some reason I don't get to your question, this is going to be recorded. So I will be sharing that link, the recording link, afterwards, and there's going to be a space for you to ask questions there afterwards as well. And then, of course, there's the event page through Google Plus that you can ask me questions there, and I'll answer those too. So just a few more minutes here, and we are going to get started. So in the meantime, I guess I will share just a little bit of information with you in terms of Hey Boss Lady. So about 3 years ago now, I quit my job, I moved to a new state, and I settled for a job that I absolutely hated. And it was one of those soul-sucking situations where I just absolutely hated my job every day, day in, day out. It affected, my personal life as well. It wasn't like I was able to just clock out at that 9 to 5. So one day I just decided, I was doing social media marketing before, and that's something that I really love. I want to get back into it. And so I started Hey Boss Lady. At the time, it was called ELJ Social Media, and I started that about 3 years ago. So fast forward to today, my main goal is to help as many women entrepreneurs as possible. And being a women entrepreneur, I understand the struggle, the day in, the day out of making your business profitable, making it work, and having all the time to do everything else that you want to accomplish. So that's one of the reasons why I really love helping women entrepreneurs. So Hey Boss Lady came to mind, and I thought, Boss Lady for me is a term of endearment. So that's what I decided to switch my business to. So we're just going to give it a few more minutes here, and then we're going to get started. The workshop presentation that I'm showing is a slideshow. So if you have any questions throughout the video, I'm going to be switching actually back and forth between some slides and then keeping it interesting so that we can have some face-to-face interaction as well. And if you have any questions, there is a chat box icon off to the left-hand side of your screen. If you click on that, and then on the right-hand side, a bar will pop up where you can go ahead and ask that question to me. And hopefully at the end of the video, I will have time to answer all of your questions. If not by then I will be able to answer all of your questions if you ask them through the Google Plus page itself, the event page. Or I'm going to be sharing the link to where the recording will be at the end of this, and you can always ask me questions after the show is live, and I'd be happy to email you the answer. Okay, so I think we're gonna get started. So just to reintroduce myself really quickly, I'm Erica Jordan, head boss lady and social media strategist at heybosslady.com. I want to give a special huge thank you to Levo League for allowing me to share this information with you guys and to connect with you and help you with your social media marketing. Love, love, love Levo League. Thank you so much. And a special thank you to Kelly Fox for connecting us and making this all happen. So the 5 social media marketing mistakes that you're making right now. Now, again, like I said before, you might not be making all 5 of them, and spoiler alert, there's actually 6. I have a bonus. But so you might not be making all 6, but this is definitely going to help you make your social media strategy more cohesive and have a better, more effective plan at the end of this workshop. So let's just dive right in, and I'm going to switch to the slideshow. Okay, so 5 social media mistakes you're making right now. So let's just have a brief overview. This workshop is all about creating that effective social media strategy for you, right? So by the end of this workshop, you will learn the reason why you should be more active in social media marketing for your business, the common mistakes that you are holding back from closing sales in social media, techniques to use instead to drive traffic to your site and convert your followers into customers. So this information as a whole is not platform specific. So it's not just for Twitter or for Instagram or for Facebook. It's pretty much for every platform possible. You want to incorporate this in your entire strategy. So really quick, and I wanted to create a slide about this because I know, and I hear this pretty much every day, why social media? I hear so many frustrations from people that they're spending hours upon hours on their social media and they just aren't seeing the conversion. So 82% of prospects can be reached via social media. And I'm just going to go over these briefly because these might be stats that you already know. But 82% of your ideal customers and clients can be reached via social media. That number is really, really high. 92% of buyers say they delete emails and voicemails from people they don't know. So if your email marketing is really heavy right now, how many people are actually seeing that content? How many people are learning about you and your business? And is that outweighing the efforts that you would be using in social media marketing? And just a really quick active monthly user headcount, over 1.23 billion on Facebook, over 1 billion on YouTube, 540 million on Google+. We're in the millions here with LinkedIn, Instagram, and with Twitter. So that is an active monthly users headcount. That's not even how many people have an account. That is just how many people are active on a monthly basis. And that number keeps growing. So these are stats that you should be looking at when you're thinking to yourself, do I really need social media marketing for my business? The answer is clearly yes. So before we go into mistake number 1 here, I just want to discuss the frustration aspect again. So I know that I just mentioned the conversion rate, right? What is your conversion rate? How many followers do you have? And are those followers becoming your customers? What is the percentage of followers that you have that are becoming your customers? Because right now, if you are on a time crunch, I know that social media in your day-to-day business life might not be priority number 1 for you. So if that falls by the wayside, that means that you're losing that engagement and that constant conversation with your followers online, right? So mistake number 1 is inconsistent activity and inconsistent branding as a whole within your social media strategy. So the key here is that you're not supposed to be posting just for the sake of posting. And you're not supposed to have one solid week where you feel like you really did a good job with your social media marketing, and then the next week you got so crazy busy with something else that you weren't able to take on that social media marketing and it kind of fell by the wayside. Consistent social media is very important. In order for you to have an effective social media strategy, you have to be consistent. So posting consistently for a week, then dropping the ball isn't going to get you there. Posting content for the sake of posting isn't going to get you there. What is the content that you're sharing? Are you just sharing a trending article with little to no follow-up afterwards? If so, you're not going to get the feedback, you're not going to get the engagement or the results that you really want from that post. And sharing other people's images instead of your own. Are you sharing what other people are trying to tell about their business, but you're not sharing what you think about your business? So it's all about your brand message and how clear and concise you want the purpose of your business and brand to be. So how can you fix this, right? And just really quick, when I'm talking about posting here, the word post that I'm using, that is just an umbrella word that I'm using for tweet, for pinning, for adding a photo on Instagram, for posting on Facebook, LinkedIn, everything as a whole. I'm just using the word post. So take that into account when you're making your notes here. So what do you do instead? Instead of just having one really good week where you're great with your social media marketing and then another week where you kind of fall by the wayside. Sharing other people's photos, but not really raising any brand awareness for your own brand. So first thing you have to do, and some of you might have already done this, so it's kind of like you're starting from square one, but there is nothing wrong with that because social media strategies can always change. So I would create an editorial calendar. Now you can do this once a year, you can revisit it however often you want. But creating that editorial calendar will allow you to create content ahead of time so that you can schedule it out, which is going to be much more time effective for you. Chances are if you've had inconsistent messaging before, inconsistent activity, it's because time was really limiting you and the frustrations got the best of you. But if you stick to a plan and you bulk write some of your content ahead of time and schedule it out, you'll see that you'll be able to have much more consistent schedule with your social media marketing as a whole, and thus it will be more effective. So creating an editorial calendar is key, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the type of content you should be writing in that editorial calendar in mistake number 2 and 3 and 4. But the one thing that you really want to understand when you're creating your content is who your ideal customer or client is. So who is your ideal customer and client? Just think to yourself right now who that person is. If there's specific demographics, where they live, their age, their gender, what do they like reading? What do you think they like seeing on social media? What do you think keeps them engaged? Is it funny photos that they get to share, or dog videos? Maybe that's just me. Or is it, trending articles within your industry? What do they want to read? Do they want to hear the behind the scenes of your business? Where do they hang out online? Depending on the age, depending on the location, all of your specific demographics, not everybody hangs out on Facebook. Not everybody hangs out on Twitter. So you're not going to have the basic core 4 social media platforms that you're active in. If you really want to understand your ideal customer or client, you have to pinpoint which platforms you want to be active on. And then what is their day like? Walk through their day. How can you work around that in terms of posting online? That's one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, when am I supposed to be posting? And there's so many other details that go into that, and everybody's posting schedule is different. So one of the clients that I'm going to use as an example here is I work for a momtographer. So she's a photographer that's also a mother who wants to teach other moms how to take better photos of their children. And she does this virtually. It's a really great business model. So for her ideal client is pretty much moms, right? So maybe it's a working mom, maybe it's a stay-at-home mom, but because of that, she has to know what a mom's schedule is like. Okay, I should post at 8 p.m. because I know that after story time and the kids get tucked into bed, parents have some time to focus on the things that they want to focus on, and social media might be one of the things they focus on. So 8 p.m. is a good time. Or if it's a stay-at-home mom, they know that between the hours of 12 and 3 might be nap time. So nap time might be a good chance for mom to catch up on her social media activity. So you really have to know your ideal customer and client in order to create the content they actually want to see, create the content and post it where they're going to be, and post it at the time that you know they're going to be seeing it. So in terms of the branding, I know we're talking a lot about the inconsistent activity, but now if you could refocus that same energy on your branding itself, do you have logos, fonts, trending hashtags for your business? Do you have colors that you use? All of these things are things that you should be incorporating within your images themselves. And the reason being for that is that once you share something, the ideal situation would be that somebody is so excited and really resonates with whatever you're posting that they feel they should share it. So further down the line, let's say if a photo of yours gets shared 100 times, you're going to want to make sure that it falls in line with your branding so that people know who the original source was of the content that you just got viral. So having a hashtag in the image, using logos, using all of your colors. If you want to boost your following on a specific social media platform, you can also have your social media handles as well. So if this is on Twitter, you want to have your Twitter handle. If this is, you want to boost your following on Instagram, you can also have it on Instagram, an Instagram handle on your image. So you want everything to fall in line and have a clear, concise message. And the branding is not only just the visual aspect of things, but your overall business message. So your overall business message, how do you want people to feel when they read your content? How do you want them to feel? If you want them to feel warm, gushy, gooey, amazing on the inside, how are you bringing that through in the content that you're writing? So it's really about consistent activity, having that calendar in place, scheduling everything out, but then it's also about making sure that all of it is cohesive together and you maintain that same business image and that same branding and message throughout all of the content that you're sharing. There has to be a purpose with everything that you share. Okay, so really quick, I'm just gonna flip this back over and see how you guys are doing. And remember, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask those in the chat roll off to the side. So the next thing that we're gonna be talking about is is the content itself. So if you've created an editorial calendar, now the next 3 mistakes are very content specific. What can you do in order to make sure that the content that you're sharing is effective? Because that's also a main frustration with people as well, is that they feel like they're posting, but they're not getting the results that they really do want. So back on to mistake number 2. So we want everybody to buy from us, right? That's pretty much when it boils down to it. That's the heart of social media marketing. We want another place for people to buy from us. But there's a way that you can do that without having it be this buy my stuff type approach, correct? So mistake number 2 is a biggie, and that's over promotion. So if you create your editorial calendar and there is a direct promotional post pretty much every day throughout your entire calendar, that is over promotion. People don't like feeling like they're being sold to. It's the same thing as if you were shopping for a used car and a used car salesman kind of gave you the chills or the skeevies, right? If there's a used car salesman that's just so desperate to sell you that car, it just comes off wrong, right? It's kind of a turnoff. People don't like feeling like they're being sold to. Now, I'm using the term feeling here because pretty much every post that you ever send out is going to be selling your business and your brand in some format, but people won't necessarily feel that way if you get really creative with it. So direct promotion is that very clear, strong call to action that's click here to buy this or click here to learn more. So examples of direct promotion. Here's my new product, buy it here. Sign up for my new service, buy here. Read my new blog post, click here. So I know that you're getting a little bit more creative with the content than these one-liners here, but that's just an example of what direct promotion is. Now, don't get me wrong, you need direct promotion, okay? Direct promotion posts are definitely needed. However, there needs to be a fine-tuned balance. There has to be a balance between engaging with your ideal customers and clients, having just a casual conversation with them versus here's this product, you should buy it. So what is that balance? How can you measure that? I follow the 80-20 rule. So if you've heard of the 80-20 rule, amazing, it's fabulous. I'm glad that you've heard of it before. The 80-20 rule is this: 80% of your content should be shareable, engaging content, and 20% of your content should be direct promotion. So if you do simple math, if you have 10 posts per week, then 2 of those posts should be direct promotion, but 8 of those posts should not. So what do I mean by like shareable content? That would be quotes, images, business updates without a link, questions to your followers, just one-liner questions, your expertise or tips in the industry. That could be behind the scenes images or videos of what you're doing in your workday, you and your staff, what they're doing, taking pictures of you at a networking event. All of these different things are shareable content, right? This is things that are going to get people more engaged about what you're doing in the business, but it's not the you should buy this direct approach. And then, of course, you're still promoting your brand and message, but it's just that people don't feel like they're being sold to, right? You don't want them to feel like they're being sold to. If they feel good about the message that you're providing, then they're still going to think about you for the next time they need this, that, or the other, whatever it is that you're selling. They're still going to think of you because you're still relevant in their mind. but it's not going to be in the direct sales approach. And then direct sales would be 20% of your weekly content. And examples of that would be, you know, announcing a new product or service, you're having a sale on something, or let's say you just created a blog post and you want people to read that blog post. So 80-20 rule, highly effective, and you will still get the conversion rate that you're looking for. In fact, more so because you're not pushing it as hard. Okay, and that brings us to mistake number 3, which is also about content. So everything that we've talked about so far is about creating that editorial calendar, creating that content that people want to see. And so the next one is no different. It's actually what the main thing that'll help you get the results that you actually want. So mistake number 3 is all about no call to action. Okay, no call to action means that at the end of the content that you're sending out, you're not asking for a start of a conversation. So what you really want to do with your social media marketing is start the conversation between you and the customer. You want to have that one-on-one interaction with you and your customers. So how can you have that if you're not asking for it? Now, I know that it doesn't sound very organic to have it set up that way, but if you want the results that you want, you have to ask for them, right? It's that classic, you know, no stupid question. The only stupid question is the one not asked. It's the same thing here. So if you want something out of a post, you should ask for it. So how are you sparking that conversation now, today? How are you doing that within your content? Are you effectively sparking that conversation? Are you getting the comments and the retweets and the likes that you want? You need to direct your followers to the next step, right? So what is that next step? What do you want that end result to be? Do you want feedback on a new product or service? Do you want insight or thoughts on your blog post? Do you want an opinion about a trending article or quote? So these are all the things that if you want feedback or if you want comments on something, you have to ask the right way in order to get the results that you want. And if you boost your engagement, if you spark that conversation, you are definitely going to drive more traffic to your site with your clear calls of action. So what do you do instead? How do you frame that content so that you are having that call to action and people are being receptive to that? So you can ask questions, thoughts, or feedback. So again, we'll use that example of the post of, like, let's say you at a networking event. If you take a picture of yourself at a networking event, you could say, I'm so excited that my business here is representing at this event here. And what do you think about the shoes I'm wearing as I network, right? Or what do you think, what networking event do you think we should go to next? So asking a question at the end of your content, it's very easy to actually have a call to action at the end of every single piece of content that you write. You can prompt for advice. I'm looking for this. Do you have any advice or suggestions on something? You can prompt to click to a link. That's still a call to action, right? If you have a blog post that came out, or if you're having a sale, then providing that link for people to click, that's a call to action to click here. Prompt to share photos with others, right? So if people like an image that you shared, you could say, share if you agree. Or you can have people comment with a picture. If you show a picture of yourself, you know, sipping coffee in the morning, and you say, this is my morning mojo, take a picture, comment here with a picture of what your morning pick-me-up looks like, or something like that, then that's going to get the ball rolling as well. So let's just stop right there. So you're asking questions now, right? You're starting the conversation. You're starting the conversation. So mistake number 4 would be, of course, not following up with that, right? So not following up. So here you are, you're sparking the conversation. You've got people interacting with you. It's boosting your reach and your engagement on social media. You're getting some brand awareness and people are interested in what you have to say. But then you can't just not answer them, right? Like I said before, time gets the best of you. And sometimes responding to people's comments falls by the wayside, right? So how are you continuing the conversation? Here you sparked up this great conversation, but how are you continuing it? Now you want, more than ever, you want to start building a relationship with you and the follower. You've got that person engaged. How can you keep them interested? So after you've captured them, what do you do next? You can't just like a few comments here or there, maybe favorite a few tweets. Do you ignore it altogether? If you've let that fall by the wayside, are you going back a few days afterwards and making sure that you're following up with people, or do you feel like it's too late? So this is where my favorite saying comes in, which is trust equals money. And so I'm actually gonna switch here over so that you can see my face when I'm discussing this. Trust equals money, okay? Very simple. If I trust you, I'm going to buy from you. So what makes you different than your competitor down the street? You could probably rattle off at least 5 things right now, right? Your prices are better, you do handle this better, your customers like you more, whatever it is, you have better hours, all of these things that make you better than your competitor. But what it really boils down to is this. If I trust you, I'm going to spend my money with you. So same thing with the used car salesmen, right? If there's 2 used car salesmen, one's really salesy and sounds a little desperate, I don't really trust them that much. But if there's one that's really genuine and has been having this really great conversation with me, I'm starting to establish trust with that person, and I would prefer to give that person my business than the other person. So trust equals money. How can you establish trust on social media? This is it. You ask questions and then you continue the conversation and you get to learn more about your ideal customers and clients. And that's really what it's all about, is further connecting with your target market. So trust equals money. Always keep that in mind when you're thinking about your social media marketing and the efforts that you're putting towards how effective you really want it to be. So to continue on with that, hold on here. Okay, so how can you change that? How can you make sure that you follow up with everybody and continue that conversation? So you definitely want to follow up on everything. I know that sounds extensive and some of you might be feeling overwhelmed at this point. Wow, I'm supposed to follow up with every single comment and tweet. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Trust me, further down in the slide, I have the answer for you. But you want to follow up with everything. You must continue the conversation between you and your customers. So you respond to all the questions in the comments, right? You ask a follow-up question on Twitter. If somebody retweets your blog post, you want to thank them for retweeting it, but then you also want to ask them, what about this post really resonated with you? Or why, what did you think about this line that I said in this blog post? You want feedback. It's a great way, social media is a great way for you to get feedback about the things that you're putting out there in the world. You want to thank all of your followers for following you. You want to provide a follow-up link maybe. So, oh, I'm really glad that you said that. That actually reminds me of this service that I offer. You should click here to learn more about it. And it doesn't have to be immediate. So just like I said before, in terms of overwhelm, if you ever feel overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, there's 36 comments, I don't have time to answer all 36 comments right now. Social media has this stigma of being immediate, right? We have to respond to things immediately. If somebody tweets or follows me, I have to answer it right away, or else it just dies off and falls into a black hole. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't have to be that way. The things that you need to respond to immediately are complaints and concerns about your business and service. So if you get a complaint about your business, or if you see a trending hashtag about your business that's, so-and-so sucks or something awful like that, yes, that needs to be addressed immediately. Everything else can be on a schedule. And I think that that's a common misconception nowadays, is that people feel like they just don't have time for social media because it's so instantaneous. And it really doesn't have to be. So creating that schedule and choosing a follow-up schedule that works for you. My schedule that works for me is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday morning, Wednesday morning, Friday morning, I am logging in, I'm answering anybody's questions, and I'm very gracious about it. If you give a heartfelt, gracious, and useful response, then it doesn't matter that you responded 2 days later. They're getting the answer that they asked, and you're continuing that conversation. So keep that in mind. Come up with a follow-up schedule that works for you. And so that's all I have for focusing on the content itself. But one of the main ways for you to drive business on social media is through networking online. So you've already probably done a lot of this if you are really active in Level League, or maybe you haven't joined groups at all. But mistake number 5 is no social media networking. So I am very active online, and only recently, since moving to Honolulu, have I actually gotten more involved with face-to-face networking. That's something that I actually hadn't had before. So both are really important. So hold on here just a sec. Whoop. So what do you do? Just like networking within your local community or bigger events, networking online is super important. So if you think about a local networking event, think about the equivalent to that in social media. That would be private communities and groups within social media platforms. And why would you want to do that? Because it helps raise awareness about your business and brand. It connects you with your peers in the industry, which could also lead to future collaboration, people promoting your stuff for you. It also leads to referrals and services that you need for your business. I can attest to this one right away. I'm a part of a Facebook group right now where last week I actually had a virus on my site. And so I really concerned. I had mentioned something in the group about, does anybody know somebody who can fix this for me? And within 10 minutes, I was able to get a response. And within 24 hours, we were able to fix the problem. So for referrals, it's really great. And to build your customer and client list. So how does this happen though? How do you get to this point where you can be really interactive in these groups and people refer you to others, or you gain business from the people that are actually in the group? So the first thing you want to do, and I know some of this is actually providing you with homework, right? Create an editorial calendar, come up with content. Here's the way to structure your content. But if I were to give you another piece of homework after this workshop, it would be for you to join groups within your industry online. And it's quality over quantity, okay? It's definitely quality over quantity. I would say maybe start with 3 groups, just 3 groups that you can join on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+. You can join Twitter chats on Twitter. Those are 1 hour long Twitter chats with usually led by a company with a trending hashtag. Or you can even start your own private community if that's something that you would want. If you feel like there isn't a community out there that matches exactly what you're looking for, you can go ahead and create your own. You've created your own business, you know that you can create your own private community online. So in order to start to learn, to meet the people that are in these groups and to provide your expertise and start networking with them and really get your business out there, I recommend taking 20 minutes per day, 5 days a week, to dedicate to social media networking. So that doesn't have to be a Monday to Friday. It doesn't have to be all in one sitting. That can be something where you work it out 5 minutes 4 times a day, 10 minutes 2 times a day. It doesn't have to be Monday through Friday. You can add Saturday and Sunday in there, whatever's going to work for your schedule best. Take that 20 minutes per day, go in and provide your insight or expertise, ask your own questions within the community itself, or have that feedback that you're looking for some of your stuff, or even just add your thoughts and feedback to whatever everybody else is asking about. The more you're known in those groups, the more relevant, again, your business, your brand is going to be in their minds. So for me, if I'm always helping in a marketing as a whole, like a marketing group, if there's a lot of social media questions in there, I make sure to add my 2 cents and to add my expertise to all of those threads. Then, if somebody really appreciates the feedback that they're getting from me, they know in the future, okay, if I need a social media manager, I'm going to go to Hey Boss Lady, I'm going to go to Erica Jordan. So, or vice versa, if they have somebody they know that's a friend that has been, complaining about their social media, oh, I'm so frustrated with it, they might think of me in their mind. So networking online is a really great way to build your list, build your clients and customers. And it's really overlooked because people think it takes a lot of time. But if you break it up into chunks, it's really doable. So if you were with me in the beginning of this video, I was talking about a bonus, that there is a mistake number 6. And it's pretty much been mentioned in all of the other mistakes, whether I'm talking about scheduling or the frustrations you have in general with social media marketing. But mistake number 6 is time management. So now you have all of this information, and what are you going to do with that information? I see time and time again, even with myself, after learning from a workshop like this, after getting all those takeaways, am I going to close the computer and forget about it and continue on with my day, or am I going to actually take those bits of knowledge and put it to use? So ask yourself, are you scheduling your social media content? Is that something that you're willing to do, is schedule it? If you're not already scheduling it, there's a lot of programs out there, a lot of sites that do content scheduling, and I'd be happy to help you figure out which one is best for you after the workshop. I have lots of recommendations on that. Is that something that you feel like you can do? Can you create a consistent content schedule? Can you do that? Do you feel that you have the time to sit down, write that editorial calendar, and be able to write that content and schedule it out? Can you follow up with your followers? Do you feel like you can dedicate that time that we talked about to logging in, let's say, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and responding to your followers and continuing that conversation? Can you network 20 minutes per day? If you feel like you can't do this, if you feel like it's too overwhelming, I'm going to start from the base, from the very basic, just with like one platform, that's great. If you feel like you want to be active on all sorts of social media, but you just don't see the time, and oh, I'm so frustrated and I'm just not getting the conversions that I want, then outsourcing is worth the money. Outsourcing is worth the money. There is nothing wrong with outsourcing marketing efforts for your business so that you can get back to working on the business that you love and doing the day-to-day that doesn't include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. So keep that in mind at the end of this, when you're writing all of your content, when you're figuring out your strategy. Is this something that you want to put your attention towards, your efforts towards, or is this something you feel like you can afford to outsource and get better results. Remember, this is a stat just from before, at the very beginning of this workshop, 82% of prospects can be reached via social media. 82%. You don't want to miss out on that 82%. You don't want to not have your brand and business reach 82% of your prospects. So what are the takeaways at the end of this workshop? And I think that we will have time at the end for questions. But what are some of the takeaways that we have from this workshop? Well, one would be that consistent social media, you need to create a consistent social media strategy and schedule, right? We know that branding needs to be cohesive in your content and your images. We now know that you need to limit your direct promotion, use the 80-20 rule. You need to write a call of action in your content to spark engagement. You need to follow up and continue that conversation. Build that trust between you and the customer. And become active in online networking. And fit your social media marketing efforts into your schedule. And if you can't do that for some reason, then outsourcing is always an option. So I do have some time for some questions, but really quick, I do want to touch base on this. So again, thank you so much to Level League for allowing me to share this information with you. And if you want to continue this and learn a little bit more about your social media marketing efforts specifically, then you can always book a 60-minute strategy call with me. It's undivided attention to your social media and marketing efforts, and we can get right down to it and figure out what is the most effective plan for you. If you are familiar with Facebook ads, I also provide Facebook ad campaign management, which can grow your list by hundreds, and it's a great way to market your business. And then I also am going to be providing monthly retainer packages starting in July 1st. So if you want to reach out to me about any of these packages, feel free at erica@heybosslady.com. So let's get to questions. So does anybody have any questions here about anything that they've learned from today? If you do, there's a way for you to chat. Off to the left-hand side, you'll see two square boxes. And they're like speech bubbles at the very top. And then if you click that, and on the right-hand side, there'll be a chat feed, and you can chat there. Ask your question there. And if anybody missed this, or they were able to hop in and out, but they missed some of the content, no worries. It's completely recorded, so I'll be sharing the recording, and the link will be provided for you after this workshop. And don't forget also that there is an events page, the Google Hangout event page that you RSVP'd to. You can always ask my questions there as well, and then I can answer those for you there. So if there's any questions, you can ask them here. Okay, so if nobody has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but stay tuned for the recording of this video so that you get all of the information recorded, so you can replay it when you sit down and write your strategy and start thinking about your content. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Erica Jordan at heybosslady.com, and thank you so much, Level League. Have a great night, everybody. I'm so glad that you joined me. See ya.